pay attention. You've been lowering your standards without realizing it. How?
Doesn't happen all at once. You don't wake up one day and decide to expect less from yourself. It's quieter than that, more subtle. At first, it feels like being realistic. You adjust your expectations slightly. You become more flexible. You tell yourself you're just adapting. But something shifts. You stop aiming as high. You stop pushing as hard. You stop questioning certain outcomes. And slowly, what once felt like a temporary adjustment becomes your new normal. Not because you chose it consciously, but because it felt easier to accept it than to challenge it. And the dangerous part? It doesn't feel like you're lowering your standards. It feels like you're being reasonable. It usually begins in small moments. You don't speak up when you should. You settle for good enough. You delay things you once cared about. Not because you stopped caring, but because it feels easier not to push. You tell yourself you're tired, that you'll do better later, that now isn't the right time. And each time you make that choice, it becomes easier to repeat it. Not consciously, but emotionally, because your mind starts associating comfort with safety and effort with discomfort. So you slowly shift. You stop demanding more from situations, from people, from yourself. And over time, the version of you that used to expect more starts to feel distant, almost unfamiliar. Your mind doesn't label it as lowering your standards. It reframes it. You call it maturity. You call it balance. You call it knowing your limits. And sometimes it is, but not always, because there's a difference between adjusting your expectations and quietly shrinking them. You start avoiding situations that challenge you. You accept outcomes you once wouldn't tolerate. You stop correcting things you used to question. And each time you do, you reinforce a new baseline, a quieter one, a smaller one. But it feels justified because your mind is trying to protect you from failure, from discomfort, from uncertainty, even if that protection is slowly costing you growth. This is where it starts affecting your life, not in dramatic ways, but in subtle, cumulative ones. You begin choosing stability over opportunity, comfort over expansion, predictability over possibility. And at first, nothing seems wrong. Your life still works. You're still functioning. But something is missing. Progress slows down. Your standards for what's acceptable quietly shift. You tolerate more. You expect less. And over time, the gap between who you could be and who you are becoming starts to grow. Not because you're incapable, but because you stopped requiring more from yourself. There's a strange comfort in lowering your standards. You don't have to try as hard. You don't risk disappointment. You avoid the discomfort of pushing beyond your limits. Everything becomes manageable, controlled, safe. And that safety feels good. It feels like peace. But it's not the kind of peace that comes from growth. It's the kind that comes from avoidance. Because when you stop expecting more, you stop putting yourself in situations that demand more. And slowly, your world adapts to that. Your challenges shrink, your ambitions soften, your potential stays untouched, not because it disappeared, but because you stopped activating it. At some point, something feels off. Not wrong, just incomplete. You'll look at your life and realize you're not struggling, but you're not growing either. And that's when the question appears. When did I start expecting less? It's not easy to answer, because it didn't happen in one moment. It happened in many small ones, choices you barely noticed, decisions that felt harmless but repeated over time. And once you see it, you begin to understand. It was never about your circumstances. It was about what you slowly accepted. You don't lower your standards in one decision. You lower them in patterns, in repeated moments where comfort wins over effort, where avoidance feels safer than growth, where good enough replaces what you once demanded. And the longer it continues, the more natural it feels. Until one day, what used to be unacceptable becomes normal. But here's the truth most people avoid. Nothing external lowered your standards. You did. Quietly, gradually, without noticing. And that means something important. It means you can change it the same way. Not in one big decision, but in small, intentional ones. By noticing when you're settling, by questioning what you're accepting, by choosing, even slightly, to expect more again. Because you're not stuck, you're just living inside standards you slowly adjusted. And the moment you raise them, even a little, everything begins to shift.